welcome to Arts and Entertainment. I'm Deborah Gilbert, your host, and as always, it's so great to have you. Thank you for tuning in, and as always, I hope you enjoy the show. Well, I have the pleasure of having someone who's been here before. I know you've asked me to have her back, and she has been kind enough to accept my invitation, and she is here. Her name is Jackie Hubbard. She's the artistic and executive director of the Ivoryton Playhouse, which is based in Ivoryton, Connecticut. And Jackie, thank you so much for being here. We're so excited.
I am so happy to be back here, Deb. I enjoy our conversations.
And as we had talked before we started taping, and you may remember from our past, I like to introduce the guest to the viewer. So why don't you take us back into your background? Let us get to know you.
Sure. I'm sure some people already know that I come from England, the north of England, and I came over here when I was 22 years old with an intention of staying for a summer, which lasted for about 40 some years. But I love it here. I have had a wonderful time. I've traveled, worked in many places across the country, and came to Connecticut in 1990 and made it my home. And discovered the Ivoryton Playhouse in 91, volunteered, I'm sorry, I don't know where this came from, allergies, pollen. Volunteered there for 4 or 5 years and became executive director in 1999. So I've been there as the executive artistic director since 1999.
And why don't you tell us about the Ivoryton Playhouse? People may not know where Ivoryton is at all. Tell us about the history of the Playhouse.
Oh, sure. So the Playhouse was, the building was constructed in 1911. It was a community hall for piano factory workers. Then in the 1920s, with the emergence of radio, silent movies, all kinds of changes in the world, there was less of a demand for pianos. And so the piano factory slowed down production and they amalgamated their buildings, and there wasn't a need for the community hall. So a man called Milton Stiefel, who was a stage manager in New York, who had been passing through Connecticut, discovered this empty building and thought it would be a great space to have a summer theater, and he opened it in 1930. So from 1930 up through the 70s, it was run by Milton Stiefel as part of the summer stock circuit, which is when plays were put together in the city with a star, and they traveled up the East Coast, Westport, Ivoryton, up to the Cape, and usually ended up in Ogunquit. And because of that, so many big stars came through Ivoryton. I mean, we have their pictures on our walls, so anyone who's ever been to the theater will have seen Marlon Brando, Katharine Hepburn, Paul Robeson, Tallulah Bankhead. They all came through with big shows. In the 70s, Milton Stiefel passed the theater over to somebody else, and it didn't work out. And actually the place was threatened with being knocked down in the late 70s, but a group of concerned citizens in the community got together and saved the building, formed the Ivoryton Playhouse Foundation, who still exists today, and that's who owns the building, cares for the building. And for the next 15 years or so, it was rented by a summer theater company out of New York, so it retained that summer stock feel to it. But as I say, I came in 99. I initially built a winter and fall season around the summer, but when the summer theater people left, we built our own year-round season. So from 2005, oh my gosh, 20 years.
I know.
20 years we've been a year-round producing theater now. We generally open our season at the end of March and we run through December.
Now, people will probably not know that you're also an actress. How did that come about?
That was initially my passion. As a child, I grew up in a very industrial part of the UK at a time where there was very high unemployment and poverty, and theater became, for me, a means of escape. I love to escape into stories, so I was lucky enough at that time to have wonderful arts organizations in the area that provided classes for kids. And so I would say from the age of 12 or 13, theater was my escape. I studied drama at university. I was always thought that what I would do was act. But I also am the oldest of 5 children, which means I'm quite bossy and like to control things. And discovered that I was usually ended up taking over. So directing became a passion too. And to be honest with you, I love performing. It uses a very different part of the brain, but directing gives me so much pleasure now because it's kind of your baby. And when you see it on stage, you get to step back and watch it take its first steps. It's a great feeling of having created something beautiful, not on your own, with a whole group of people, because I totally believe in the power of the involvement of everybody, of a community, the community of actors, designers, everybody who works on a show, so that when it's up and running, you all have that sense of pride and accomplishment. So directing is largely what I do now, and I still love it.
Just back to the acting, you were on stage, you were just mentioning within the past year. How was it for you to do that?
Well, it was a wonderful piece by Ken Jones. It was called Alabama Story. And I played a librarian in 1960 in Alabama who, a senator of the time, is trying to get a children's book banned. Similar times. And she stands up to him. She fights the banning of the book, and she wins. It was a wonderful role, and I don't often, say, "Oh, I'd like to do this," but this was a role I really wanted to take on. However, it was a challenge, and I've mentioned before, it's quite humbling to discover that learning lines in your 20s, which is a piece of cake, can be very much harder in your 60s. So I thoroughly enjoyed it, and it was terrifying and wonderful, and good to do, to remind me that part of my brain still works, but it's not as easy as it used to be. I guess it's like if I was to join a dance class now, I could probably still do the steps, but it would take me a little longer, and my body probably wouldn't respond as quickly.
Were you still running the theater when you were learning lines and doing the play?
Yes.
Any advice to those performers that are also working at the same time? What were your skill set to be able to do your day job, if you will, and still learn your lines and perform?
Yes, well, most actors do that now. It's because theater, look, we pay our actors, they're professional actors, and we do pay, but actors have a hard time making a living out of just theater. They have to have other jobs around it. So they have learned to juggle all these balls at once, and I had, forgotten about needing to do that. So actually they had a lot to teach me on how to balance that, how to set aside the time to work on my character, the role that I was playing, and when I'd have the time to put my head into theater matters, administrative matters. And I thought that it would be easier than it was. And I realized that it's a skill set that some of these young people have down beautifully. I shared a dressing room with a young woman who teaches voice, and she had moved all of her students to Zoom. And so we'd have a break in rehearsals, and she'd be moving off to teach a voice lesson, which just was amazing. But this is how they have to do it to get by. It is a true vocation. If you want to act, you have to be prepared to make a life around it, because it's, you see the people in movies and TV, but that's such a small percentage of working actors. Working actors work very hard to be able to to follow their passion and act.
You were mentioning that the performers are paid. Is that usually, I hear many theaters that don't pay their performers. You tell us about the theater. It's an equity theater?
Yes, it's an equity theater. So we use minimally 50% union actors, but we also pay our non-union actors the same, because whether you are a member of a union or not, when you're working at our theater, you are a professional. So you will be treated as a professional and paid as a professional. We don't expect anyone to come and volunteer their time, except children. I have to remember to say that, because I had children in the show and they said, "Oh, we're not getting paid." I'm like, nope, not getting paid yet.
Is there a law that says that you do not have to pay children?
There is no, and it's not. I don't think so.
Okay.
To be honest with you, they didn't work enough hours. I, broke them up into 2 groups, so they had just a couple of shows each. And honestly, it was fun, huge fun for them, and a huge learning experience. So their parents didn't expect them to get paid.
Now, you're also a director. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I just actually had a show that opened this week, and with a terrific cast, and it's working with a group of people all working together to bring something to life, the written word on a page, imbue these characters, flesh them out, make the world of that play that's just on paper a real world. That is a tremendously inspirational thing to do. And when you have a great team of people working on it with you, there's nothing better. So I love the rehearsals. That's my favorite. Once the play is up and running, my job's done, so I'm moving on to the next thing. But we have 2.5 weeks rehearsal is essentially what we have when we put on a play. And the rehearsal process for this play was just terrific. I had a great set designer who lives in Gilbert. I had largely women. This was almost an all-women design team, which was wonderful, because the story is a woman's story. One guy in the cast, poor Rod, with all of these women, but it was a terrifically fulfilling experience. And once you have, it's unnerving to have it before an audience. It's first time out of the gate, because all you're doing is watching the audience to see what lands with them, what doesn't, how they feel about what you have all created. And it's wonderful when they appreciate it and they respond to you and say how much it has moved them. Then you think, well, this is the point. This is why we do this.
Okay, let's take a break. Let's hold that thought.
Sure.
I'm Deborah Gilbert. You're tuned in to Arts and Entertainment. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back.
Scammers know that losing weight and getting in shape is one of the most popular goals. This popularity has led to a slew of scams involving vitamins, supplements, and weight loss formulas. Always be wary of advertisements and customer endorsements promising miracle results or immediate weight loss. Don't be quick to trust endorsements. Many scammers use pictures of celebrities or well-known company logos without their permission. Avoid products that claim to help lose weight without diet or exercise. Check a product's ingredients with the FDA and research the company with bbb.org before purchasing.
And welcome back to Arts and Entertainment. I'm Deborah Gilbert, your host, and as always, it's so great to have you, and I hope you're enjoying the show. My conversation continues on with Jackie Hubbard. And Jackie, one thing we don't want to forget, which I just mentioned, is the website, ivorytonplayhouse.org.
Yeah.
What will the viewer find when they go visit it?
Well, you can purchase tickets there, which is the most important thing.
Yes.
But you will see the season, the whole season. This year we only have the 2 plays left in the season. Our 2026 season will be announced at the end of October. And next year is America 250, the 250th birthday of the country. So we are planning a uniquely American season. We're hoping to feature American voices from history, from the current day, different perspectives, different music. I think it's going to be a really terrific season. So stay tuned.
There are probably people that run theaters or would like to get involved in running a theater. How do you pick a season? How do you decide what plays you're going to do?
It's It's sort of serendipitous. So we have plays that we have collected over the years that are on our list of these are the things we really want to do at some time. And I keep a running board in the office. But a lot of it depends on how we feel the world is and what the world needs. The world, I mean our world of audience members, Shoreline, Connecticut River Valley, up to what are we feeling from them? A lot of people talk to me after shows. They let me know what they love, what they don't love. Prior to COVID, we were able to do fun, entertaining shows and challenging shows sometimes too. COVID made everybody just need to be made to feel better. They need their spirits lifted. So we committed to doing that. We committed to making sure whatever we did, you would feel better leaving the theater than when you came in. It's a different world now. It's a little different. Can we add some new works? Can we add something a little different? I don't know. I feel like I have my ear to the ground, and maybe next year we will be doing a lot of stuff that's going to make people feel good. Some things that might make people reflect, but I'm hoping that almost everything at the end has redemption. The most important thing for me is that the audience feels an empathy, a collective empathy with the characters in the play and with each other while they're there. Because the whole point of theater is for us all to connect as human beings in a space, sharing an experience together. And because if not, you might as well stay home and watch Netflix, you know. So
It's true.
yeah, so we don't want you to do that. We want you to come out and we want your experience to be a shared, empathetic experience. And even if it makes you think, or even if it just fills you with joy, either way, it moves you. So that's essentially how I know it's so hard. I find it very hard to describe how I pick a season. I do have people I work with. We all read plays all the time. We come to each other with scripts. I love this one, I love this one. And then it goes on the board. And then we look at it and then we think, does it go this year? I mean, yeah, I have plays that have been on my board for 7 years. Eventually I'll do them.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That long?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
For the actor, and I get many of them that watch the program, how do they audition to be able to perform at your theater?
Sure. So I'm not sure what's happening next year, but what we usually do is season auditions in January or February in Ivoryton. And then we go into the city for each show. I'm not sure if that's what's happening next year. Sometimes what we do is we do Ivoryton auditions for each show individually, and then go into the city. But regardless, check our website. Auditions will be listed, I'm guessing January and February we'll be holding auditions in Ivoryton. And if you don't see it, if you don't find it on the website, give us a call, because we'll be able to help you with that. But we definitely will be having auditions for local actors.
So local is Ivoryton. What takes you into the city? The equity?
Yes, we have to have 50% union actors, and we use a lot of local union actors because we have some very talented people in our area.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, so sometimes we just are able to cast a show here. Well, for example, the play that I'm running right now is a union.
I think, is this it?
Yes, this is it, Our Lady, Incident at Our Lady of Perpetual Help. I have 3 of the actors in it are from the New Haven area, and they're professional actors. Such talent, and one is from Massachusetts and the other one is from Texas. So we get actors from all over, but it's always nice when we can showcase local talent. So.
And how about the theater itself? What about if somebody would like to work at Ivoryton? How would they be able to present themselves to you for that?
You mean in any other role
And
aside
yes,
from?
or any of the established
Yes.
positions.
Sure. I mean, there's different ways you could get involved. We have volunteers that we have a lot of people usher, help build sets, help sew, all kinds of ways to volunteer. But we do post positions on our website. We're always looking for people who have experience in sound and sound design, and people who are designers, and you're local. Drop us a line, send us your resume. We love to work with local people.
Your thoughts about theater in general, how is it doing in our area, in the state, in the nation?
I think that we are doing better than a lot of places, and we're all struggling, because post-COVID, a lot of people decided they didn't want to go out at night anymore. We have actually increased our matinee performances and reduced our evening performances because more people like to come out during the day. We're starting our evening performances earlier because people don't like to be out late at night. But that's the same in New York now. Shows start at 7 and 7:30 in the city now. I think we'll do better in Connecticut because we have a population that supports theater, that loves theater. They are aging, and how every theater in the state is facing the same question: how do we get young people in?
Yes.
And we're all trying as hard as we can without alienating the base of our audience, who are the older supporters who we love. They grew up with theater. Theater is part of their life. How do we make it a part of young people's lives? It's an ongoing problem for all of us, but we're all working at it, and I think that we're very lucky in Connecticut to have some fantastic theaters. Within, a short drive, you can get to Hartford, New Haven, Goodspeed, Ivoryton. You can get to, the Guard. There's so many excellent theaters, and so many great small theater companies, community theaters that are able to try experimental and new things. So I think we're pretty lucky here, that theater is an embedded part of our culture.
It's a very big part of my show. I handle arts, entertainment, and culture, but there's so much theater and so many people behind the scenes, on the stage, and
Sure.
in front of, that I'm inundated with people that would like to come on the show because there's so much theater.
Yes, yeah, I bet you are. It's wonderful, though, isn't it?
It's wonderful. And
Yeah.
what's one of the reasons why I'm so glad you're here, so we could talk about the Ivoryton Playhouse.
Yes, thank you.
Did you think you would be there this long?
Oh, no, I did not. But time is a very strange concept, isn't it? I mean, I think that most of us just get up in the morning and do what we do without thinking how many mornings we've been getting up and doing what we do. And it feels to me like such a short time that I first walked in those doors and thought, what can I do here? What will be exciting to put on this stage? And suddenly it's 30 years and still there. But I love it. And I'm still there because I love it. And I have a whole new generation of people that I'm working with. We have a terrific team that I know will one day step up and take over because, none of us last forever. And I'm really grateful for that. I'm really grateful to the people that I have working for me.
Any thoughts about how much longer you'll be at the theater?
No, I'm sure not forever because Norm and I between us have 9 grandchildren.
Oh, wow.
So spending time with grandchildren becomes more important the older you get. And I still have my mother who is 88 and in England, and spending time with her and my family. I love the theater, but family is important. So I know there's going to become a time when I want to be there less. But I'm hoping that I can just slip away quietly. There won't be a big fanfare and I'll be gone. It will be a gradual slipping away.
We have just a moment left of time. Any closing thoughts for the viewer?
Well, I will just say, if you haven't come to see the incident at Our Lady of Perpetual Help, please do. We don't often get to new work. She's a newish writer out of Seattle. It's been about 4 or 5 years this play's been around. It is so much fun. It is funny. It is relevant, but it's about family. And I love shows that are about family and people who share our memories, you know. And anyway, I would like to encourage you to come and see it. Let me know what you think.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for being here. It's been a pleasure, and I'm so glad you came back.
Thank you, Deborah. It was nice to be here.
Okay. I'm Deborah Gilbert. You've been tuned in to Arts and Entertainment. In case you need to reach me, I'm at artsandentertainment@mail.com. Well, I hope you have a super day today. I really hope you've enjoyed the show. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.